The Tatar language is a Turkic language spoken by Volga Tatars mainly located in modern Tatarstan, Bashkortostan and Nizhny Novgorod Oblast. It should not be confused with the Crimean Tatar language, to which it is remotely related but with which it is not mutually intelligible. Geographic distribution. The Tatar language is spoken in Russia, Ukraine, China, Finland, Turkey, Uzbekistan, the United States of America, Romania, Azerbaijan, Israel, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Lithuania, Latvia, and other countries. There are more than 7 million speakers of Tatar in the world. Tatar is also native for several thousand Maris. More diverse character group also speak a variant of Kosan Tatar. In the 2010 census, 69% of Russian Tatars who responded to the question about language ability claimed a knowledge of the Tatar language. In Tatarstan, 93% of Tatars and 3.6% of Russians did so. In neighboring Bashkortostan, 67% of Tatars, 27% of Bashkirs, and 1.3% of Russians did. Official status Tatar, along with Russian, is the official language of the Republic of Tatarstan. The official script of Tatar language is based on the Cyrillic script with some additional letters. The Republic of Tatarstan passed a law in 1999, which came into force in 2001, establishing an official Tatar Latin alphabet. A Russian federal law overrode it in 2002, making Cyrillic the sole official script in Tatarstan since. Unofficially, other scripts are used as well, mostly Latin and Arabic. All official sources in Tatarstan must use Cyrillic on the websites and in publishing. In other cases, where Tatar has no official status, the use of a specific alphabet depends on the preference of the author. The Tatar language was made a de facto official language in Russia in 1917, but only in the Tatar Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic. Tatar is also considered to have been the official language in the short-lived Ural state, briefly formed during the Russian Civil War. One should note, however, that Bolshevist Russia did not recognize official languages as such. However, there were a number of languages that could be used in trial in some republics. In the Soviet era, Tatar was such a language in Bashkortostan, Mari El and other regions of the Russian SFSR. The usage of Tatar declined from the 1930s onwards. In the 1980s, the study and teaching of Tatar in the public education system was limited to rural schools. However, Tatar-speaking pupils had little chance of entering university because higher education was available in Russian almost exclusively. Tatar is no longer classified as an endangered language, although it is still a low-prestige language. Higher education in Tatar can only be found in Tatarstan and is restricted to the humanities. In other regions, Tatar is primarily a spoken language and the number of speakers as well as the proficiency tends to decrease. Tatar is popular as a written language only in Tatar-speaking areas where schools with Tatar language lessons are situated. On the other hand, Tatar is the only language in use in rural districts of Tatarstan. Dialects of Tartar. There are 3 main dialects of Tartar: Western, Middle, and Eastern. All of these dialects also have subdivisions. Significant contribution to the study of the Tatar language and its dialects were made by a famous scientist, Doctor of Science in Philology, Professor Gabdukay Akatov, who is considered to be the founder of the modern Tatar dialectological school. Misa in the Western dialect C is pronounced and as C is pronounced. There are no differences between V and W, Q and K, G and G in the Misa dialect. This is the dialect spoken by the Tatar minority of Finland. Middle Minsala. In the Minsala subdialect of the middle dialect, Z is pronounced, as opposed to other dialects where it is silent. Slang. In bilingual cities, people often pronounce H as Q, as G, as W, as. This could be due to Russian influence. Another possibility is that these cities were places where both the Western and Middle dialects were used. The influence of Russian is significant. Russian words and phrases are used with Tatar grammar or Russian grammar in Tatar texts. Some Russian verbs are taken entirely unnativized and followed with itarga. Some English words and phrases are also used. Gap. The Yanabista slang Janabista Gaba. Simply Gap was a distinct cryptolect of the Tatar language, spoken in Yanabista of Kazan. It has been extinct or near extinct since the 1920s. The vocabulary and grammar of this sociolect differ from those of Standard Tatar. The vocabulary includes some words from Central Asian languages. Modern Tatar slang is also sometimes known as gap. Gap is phonetically equivalent to the English word gap and is Standard Tatar for a talk. Siberian Tatar. Siberian Tatars pronounce C as C as and sometimes B as D as, F as P, J as CH, T as D, Z as S and H as K. There are also grammatical differences within the dialect, scattered across Siberia. Many linguists claim the origins of Siberian Tatar dialects are actually independent of Volga-Ural Tatar. These dialects are quite remote both from Standard Tatar and from each other, often preventing mutual comprehension. The claim that this language is part of the modern Tatar language is typically supported by linguists in Kazan and denounced by Siberian Tatars. Over time, some of these dialects were given distinct names and recognized as separate languages after detailed linguistic study. A brief linguistic analysis shows that many of these dialects exhibit features which are quite different from the Volga-Ural Tatar varieties, and should be classified as Turkic varieties belonging to several subgroups of the Turkic languages, distinct from Kipchak languages to which Volga-Ural Tatar belongs. By studying the phonetic peculiarities of the dialect of the local population of Siberia, Professor Gabduk Akatov, first among the scientists, discovered in the speech of the Siberian Tatars is such a thing as klip-clop, which in his opinion was obtained for the Siberian Tatars of Kipchaks. In his classic fundamental research work, Dialect of the West Siberian Tatars, Gabduk Akatov wrote about the territorial resettlement of the Tobol-Irtish Tatars, Taman and Omsk areas, subjecting a comprehensive integrated analysis of the phonetic system, the lexical composition and grammatical structure. The scientist concluded that the language of the Siberian Tatars is a separate language. It is divided into 3 dialects and it is one of the most ancient Turkic languages. Phonology. Vowels. Phonemically, Tatar may be argued to have 2 vowel heights, high and low. There are 2 low vowels, front and back, while there are 8 high vowels, front and back, round and unround, long and short. However, phonetically, the short high vowels are reduced, they are mid-centralized. They are therefore generally transcribed with mid-vowel letters such as E and O. High front high U, high back I U, reduced front EO, reduced back EO, and low A. The high back unrounded vowel I is only found in Russian loans, though the native diphthong A, which only occurs word finally, has been argued to be phonemically I. Loan vowels are considered to be back vowels. Phonetically, the native vowels are approximately high I, U, reduced E, I, O, and low E. In polysyllabic words, the front-back distinction is lost in reduced vowels, all become mid-central. Reduced vowels in unstressed position are frequently elided. Low back is rounded word initially and after, as in Balachile. In Russian loans there are also t and. Historically, the Turkic high vowels have become the Tatar reduced series, whereas the Turkic mid-vowels have replaced them. Thus Kazakh til language and kun day correspond to Tatartel and kon, while Kazakh men I, qol, hand, and kok, sky, are in Tatar min, qul, kak. Consonants. Most of these phonemes are common to or have equivalents in all Turkic languages, but the phonemes v, t, s, r, and are only found in loanwords in literary Tatar. F is also of foreign origin, but is also found in native words e.g. Jafrak leaf. Pronunciation of loanwords. While the consonants are not native to Tatar, they are well established. However, Tatars usually substitute fricatives for affricates, for example for or for and for. Nevertheless, literary traditions recommend the pronunciation of affricates in loanwords. Is a sound found in Arabic loanwords and Islamic prayers. It is usually pronounced in loanwords. Palatalization. Palatalization is not common in Tatar. As a result, speakers have no problem using the Arabic and Yarelief scripts, neither of which has an accepted method for indicating palatalization. In general, Russian words with palatalization have entered into the speech of bilingual Tatars since the 1930s. When writing in the Cyrillic alphabet, Russian words are spelled as they are in Russian. In today's Latin orthography, palatalization is sometimes represented by an acute diacritic under the vowel. Some Tatars speak Russian without palatalization, which is known as a Tatar accent. Syllable types v, vc, cv, cvc, vcc, cvcc. Stress is on the final syllable. Phonetic replacement. Tatar phonotactics dictate many pronunciation changes. Unrounded vowels may be pronounced as rounded after o or o, kori, koro, boron, boron, kozij, kozgard, sorry, sorrow. Nasals are assimilated to following stops: umber, umber, mangik, mangik. Voicing may also undergo assimilation: kuz says, kuse. Unstressed vowels may be syncopated or reduced: urini, erni, kilin, kiln, besna, besna, kurdum, kurdum, kurjik, kurjik. Vowels may also be elided: kara, erman, ka, erman, kilaride, kilaride, turi, urum, ta, urum, bularalmim, bulalmim. In consonant clusters longer than two phones, I or E is inserted into speech as an epenthetic vowel. Text, tekist, bank, banit. Final devoicing is also frequent. Tabib. Grammar. Like other Turkic languages, Tatar is an agglutinative language. Plural after vowels, consonants, hard, la. After vowels, consonants, soft, la. After nasals, hard, na. After nasals, soft, na. Declension of pronouns. Writing system. Tatar has been written in a number of different alphabets. Writing was adopted from the Bulgar language, which used the Orkhon script, before the 920s. Later, the Arabic script was also used, as well as Latin and Cyrillic. Before 1928, Tatar was written with an Arabic alphabet. In the Soviet Union after 1928, Tatar was written with a Latin alphabet called Yarelief. In 1939, in Tatarstan and all other parts of the Soviet Union, a Cyrillic script was developed and is still used to write Tatar. It is also used in Kazakhstan. The Republic of Tatarstan passed a law in 1999 that came into force in 2001 establishing an official Tatar Latin alphabet. A Russian federal law overrode it in 2002, making Cyrillic the sole official script in Tatarstan since. In 2004, An attempt to introduce a Latin-based alphabet for Tatar was further abandoned when the Constitutional Court ruled that the federal law of 15 November 2002 mandating the use of Cyrillic for the state languages of the republics of the Russian Federation does not contradict the Russian Constitution. In accordance with this Constitutional Court ruling, on 28 December 2004, the Tatar Supreme Court overturned the Tatarstani law that made the Latin alphabet official. In China, Tatars still use the Arabic script, Tatar Cyrillic alphabet. 1999 Tatar Latin alphabet made official by a law adopted by Tatarstani authorities but annulled by the Tatar Supreme Court in 2004. History. Tatars, ancestors of the extinct Bulgar and Kipchak languages. Crimean Tatar, although another Kipchak language, is more akin to Standard Turkish due to influence from it. The literary Tatar language is based on the Middle Tatar dialect and on the Old Tatar language. Both are members of the Kipchak group of Turkic languages, although they also partly derive from the ancient Volga Bulgar language. Most of the Uralic languages in the Volga River area have strongly influenced the Tatar language, as have the Arabic, Persian, and Russian languages. Examples: yes, yuq, no, isanme, saw me, hello, salam, hi, sorbal, xus, bye bye, zina ocen, please, raxmat, thank you, gafu it, excuse me, min, I sin, you, al, he, she, it, besk, we, sez, you, ala, they, milat nation, Engliska, English.